Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about the fundamentals of solar marketing when it comes to paid ads. And if you are a solar business owner and a sales rep, and if you have not already, then at some point you will experiment or get into paid ads. So it is very important for you to know the fundamentals of running a paid ads campaign. So you are in the best position when you start running paid ads yourself, or when you partner up with an agency. You will know everything what you need to know to make sure that any agency would not scam you. So let's get straight into this. So let's start with the basics. So everybody knows this cost per lead. This is nothing but the cost associated with getting a single solar lead. And the second term is cost per acquisition. So there's a difference between cost per acquisition and customer acquisition cost. That is, CPA is related to your platform. So suppose you're running ads on Facebook, then the cost that is required to get a single lead from Facebook is nothing but CPA. It does not include the amount that you spend on making the ad, or maybe paying a partner or an agent. So this is the total cost to get a new customer, which is, this includes everything, your marketing budget, your agency fees, and your software costs. So every single dollar that you spend to get a single customer, that amounts to your CAC. So the fourth term is ROAS, that is return on ad spend. So this measures how much revenue we can earn for each dollar spent. That is, for every dollar you spend on ads, how much return you are getting. So the formula is revenue generated divided by your ad spend into 100. So this tells you, did the ads bring sales? And the fifth term is ROI, that is your return on investment. Again, you must know this. This is nothing but how much profit you get to the total investment. So the formula for this is profit, that is net profit divided by your total investment into 1000. So there is a small variant for solar particularly, that is ROI is equal to profit per deal into number of deals closed minus customer acquisition cost into deals closed divided by customer acquisition cost into deal closed times 100. Simply put, it is profit per deal minus your CAC divided by, again, CAC into 100. So this shows, did the business actually make money? So these are all the basics for running an ad. So next comes the ad performance metrics. So obviously the number one thing to see is your ad spend that you're spending monthly on ads, and the total leads generated for this ad spend. And the next term is leads to appointments conversion ratio. This is nothing but, suppose you are getting 100 leads and you are converting 50% of them into appointments. So your leads to appointments conversion ratio is 50%. And the third is appointments booked. So from the 100 you book 50 appointments. And next metric is appointments show up rate. And again, this is very important. So suppose, let's say, from the 50 booked appointments, only 30% of the leads show up. So then your appointment show up rate is 60%. Again, that is very decent. And from this you get the appointments conducted, that is 30. And the last metric to track is appointments closing rate. So maybe standard here is maybe 25 to 30%, and if you are an excellent sales rep, you might be closing at 50 to 60% of the appointments you conduct. So finally you get your total deals closed. So the next topic is determining target cost per lead to break even. So what this means is how much money you can spend on ads so that you are not making a loss. So let's see about this. So let's say an average deal size for a residential solar installation is 20K, and your profit per deal is $5,000. Then the next step is to estimate your lead conversion metrics that we talked before, that is leads to appointment conversion rate, appointment show up rate, and finally appointment closing rate. Let's say your leads to appointment conversion rate is 60%, that is 0.6, and appointment show up rate is 0.6, and you're closing at 25% of your deals, so that will become 0.25. The next step is calculating your customer acquisition cost. So in this scenario particularly, where we are calculating how much amount you can spend without making a loss, your customer acquisition cost will be equal to your profit per deal, that is $5,000. So you can spend $5,000 on ads to get a single deal, just so that you are not making any loss. So again, this is the maximum amount you can spend or afford to spend to acquire one customer to break even. So the next step is to calculate leads to deals ratio. So what we do here is we just take these three metrics and multiply them. That is 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.25, that is equal to 0.09. So that means you are converting 9% of your total leads. If you are getting 100 leads, then you are converting 9 of them. And the final step to calculate your target cost per lead is profit per deal into leads to deals ratio. So that is, your profit per deal is 5,000 and your leads to deals ratio is 0.09. So that amounts to $450. So again, this is not a real case scenario, but anyway, you can spend up to $450 to get a single lead to not make a loss and break even. Again, to mention, this scenario excludes agency fees, if any. So if agency fees apply, let's say, then your customer acquisition cost will be your profit per deal, that is 5,000 minus your agency fees. Let's say you're spending around $1,000 on agency to get a one deal, then your net profit becomes 4,000. So then your target cost per lead is equal to net profit per deal into leads to deals ratio. So that is 4,000 into 0.09, that is equal to $360. So this is the maximum you can spend with your agency to get a single deal without making a loss. So again, note, obviously real case scenario won't be this high. This exercise is to show you just the safe zone only. So the next topic is mastering marketing fundamentals for high converting ads. So before that, we need to know what are ads that convert. Ads that convert are nothing but ads that positively impact and potentially increase your revenue or business multifold. Simply put, your return on investment is more than 100%. And important thing to note here is, whatever ad we make, these ads cannot create desire or mass desire. All that an ad can do is only channel the existing desires or mass desires with a mechanism. So let me explain what mechanism is. So a mechanism is nothing but what you use in your ad to channel this mass desires towards buying your product or service. For example, the mechanism may be your concept of the ad, your headline, your hook, your positioning, even the message that you are giving from the ad. All these are your mechanisms that we leverage in the ads. So let me go deep in this. Again, to repeat, ads cannot create desires or mass desires. Ad can only channel them. So what that means is, any product or service will have multiple mass desires. So you have to use the strongest one in your ads to get a high converting ad. So what you have to do is you have to gather variables to build the ad mechanisms for conversion. These variables are how you position them. So we will come back to mass desires in a bit. But before that, you need to understand the levels of creativity in ads. So there are 3 levels of creativity in making an ad. Number 1 is substitution, which is where you simply look at what your competitors are doing in your service location and run it on your platform. So this is very basic form of creating an ad. And the second stage of creativity is formulation, which is where you use frameworks like AIDA, that is attention, interest, desire, and action, or PIS, that is nothing but problems, agitate, and solution frameworks. And there are multiple frameworks recently, and just copy the structure, but still this lacks originality. And the third stage of creativity in ads is analysis, which is where you do in-depth market research and data interpretation and come up with unique and innovative way to create an effective ad. Next is product positioning. This is critical for building a high converting ad. For example, solar can be positioned as energy independence, savings or return on investment, lifestyle, maybe technological advancement, eco-friendly, maybe even as a status symbol for some homeowners. So these are all the existing desires in the market. All your ad has to do is channel these existing desires using the mechanism to make them to buy your product or service. Next is the force. This is again very important concept when it comes to marketing. So there are major forces in the world that are acting that is out of our control. So these forces may be hope, desire, fear, scarcity, health. So these major forces are already acting in the world. So all you have to do is you have to harness these forces in marketing that will amplify your results. So market forces are constantly changing and can significantly impact your marketing strategy. That's why copying someone's ad won't work in long term. So what happens when you copy someone's ad is they might have built that particular ad for a particular segment of their customers, and your customer segment may be different, and when you run the same ad, that ad messaging will not hit your customer base, and that is the reason why sometimes even when you copy line by line, visual by visual, you will not get the result. Because these market forces are constantly changing, they create opportunity for innovation. Example, e-commerce boom in 2020 due to lockdown. So all the major e-commerce and even smaller e-commerce brands uh, made huge profits in lockdowns because the market shifted from shopping to online shopping. Hence, markets must adapt their offers, product positioning, and strategies in response to these changing forces. So, again, let's get back to the mass desires that we discussed earlier. So, mass desires are owned by millions and take years to develop. For example, desire to lose weight has been there since decades, and desire to get rich is there since decades. However, market desires are shared by categories of people, and these are narrower. These can shift quickly. For example, you might have seen this make money from home. So this is a market desire for particular set of people. So what you have to do is you just have to adapt and tap into these markets desires, so you ride the wave and make money out of it and not fight it. And there are two types of forces. One is the permanent force, that is, these are the constant desires, for example, health, survival, and many more. These forces always exist, and there are temporary forces based on trends, external events that influence desires. For example, regulations, maybe, for example, in the residential solar market in US, because of the big beautiful bill, homeowners are not able to capitalize on the 30% tax credits that was available for them from 2026. So what is happening is the whole market is pushing homeowners to capitalize on this and go solar. That is why it is very important to select the most powerful desire at the moment that is applicable to your product when you are making an ad. And the final concept is philosophy behind making an ad, starting with physical side. So this is nothing but your materials and construction of a product. Unless you are first to the market, you really can't make profit by making an ad that shows the materials and construction of the product. And the next is functional side. This is benefits and performance. The importance of performance is that it justifies the price, assures quality, and sharpens the mental picture of the product. So what you have to do is you have to study your product, identify all features, turn them into benefits, then map these benefits to the already existing mass desires and changing market desires. That's how you create a high converting ad. One more important thing to focus here is focus on one performance and one desire for your ad at a time. Do not make an ad that focuses on two performance or maybe focuses on two desires. So that will just confuse your customer and you won't get any results from this. And you might have felt no matter how good your ad is, people aren't interacting with it. That's because of the term called market awareness. So not every potential customer is at the same level of awareness to your product. Hence, a single message or a single type of ad always fails. So it is very important to understand how aware your market is of their desires and your product's ability to satisfy them. So that leads us to 5 levels of market awareness, which I will be talking about in my next video. So I hope I helped you understand the fundamentals of solar marketing when it comes to especially paid ads. And if you got some value from this video, please like and subscribe for more such content, everything related to solar industry. And as usual, wishing you peace and profit, and see you.